Hello again, everyone. Now, as you can probably tell, more than a few things have changed since my last upload. For one, I actually have some facial hair now that's not just on my chin, so that's a plus. Also, I was just going to kind of let my mustache, grow down, grow into the beard, but it started curling on its own, so I was like, that adds a little bit of flair, so maybe I'll curl it a little on my own, and that's what I'm working on. If it looks like shit, I don't know what to tell you, because I'll be honest, I'm really happy with my facial hair. I did not think it would grow in like this. I thought it was going to be really patchy, and it is, like if you look closely, but, as long as you look at it from a distance and kind of blur it out a little bit, it looks just fine. But if you follow this channel very closely, then you probably know that I've started to rebrand some things, and this is going to be the last Unconventional Gentleman weekly recap, which at this point is more like a past month and a half / 2 month recap. But if you don't mind, I'm just going to skip all of the gaming news and just cut straight to, stuff that you can't just readily Google. But yeah, I actually finally made the change to Bold Brew Gaming. I know I said I was going to do it like 6 months ago, but if I'm being honest, last semester was a pretty weird one for me, which that's a topic I can get into another time, so I can focus the whole video on talking about, to some degree mental health, but like not really. But anyway, for now we can just leave it at it was a pretty weird semester, and that is why not only did I not upload a lot to the channel, but I also, for the first time really ever in my academic career, like I actively procrastinated a lot. And that's not me trying to brag and be like, oh, I was such a good student and stuff, but it's just was very out of character for me. And towards the end of the semester, I picked up on it and I started making an effort to change. And as it stands right now, obviously there's an ebb and flow to feeling, but right now I feel like I'm in a much better place than I was at the beginning of last semester. Classes started last semester and I was like, oh my god, I have no clue what I'm doing, because I went from undergrad to graduate, and all of the work in undergrad, at least for me, was basically, here's a project on this, I'm in IT, so here's a project on a router, and you got to code this, and the instructions are just there, and you do it and turn it in for a grade. But in the master's program, as a graduate student, our IT program focuses more on research. So it was like going from that, where there are very clear guidelines and you just follow the steps of the project and you make it work and you turn it in, to now I've got to like contribute to my field in some way. And even though I'm not publishing, the research that I'm doing has to be in some small way pushing the boundary of the field, or at least studying something that has not been studied a whole lot before. So that was a big change, among a lot of other things. But this semester, we're in the first week, and I'm already working through one of my master's projects for the semester. I have a much more firm grasp on what we're doing in my courses. It's not like I know what we're talking about. I'm still going to, be able to learn a lot, but I'm much more confident going in than I was last semester. And I think, hopefully, that you all will see this, as I am going to try to post at least one video a week of gaming related stuff. I know for a long time I just posted my one video a week was the same video every week, and it was a weekly recap. So I'm going to try to find something to play, whether that's Borderlands 3. I'm going to finish up Outer Wilds. I'm going to start playing Outer Worlds. I'm going to, record those. I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 3 with Andrew and Jonah and Taylor, so that's a lot of fun. I'll probably wind up recording that at least a little bit. And then I'm sure, as you all know, as the year goes on, we have a few other releases like Destroy All Humans. I'm going to get that, and I will definitely play through that, because if you've watched the other few videos where I talk about it, I am super excited for that game. So, just stuff to look forward to. But yeah, overall, personally, inside in my head and in my heart, really, I'm not trying to be like sappy here, but I'm feeling a lot better and more confident about just life, like in general right now. And I'm going to continuously work to improve that. And one of the reasons that I didn't post as much last semester in the fall was because it's almost like I was paralyzed by the task of I got to record it and edit it. But thinking about it now, right now, I think that a lot of it was I never felt that I had the energy to record a video. And of course, I think regardless, you kind of have to be in a certain mindset to record the video, but I was like, I can't force myself to seem happy and upbeat right now. Which, when you say it out loud and you think about it, it almost like defeats the whole purpose, right? Like, why would I, because it is, really, my dream job is to do YouTube. And that may be, uninformed, because a lot of YouTubers are like, it's not a cakewalk. I'm not saying it would be a cakewalk, but I think that more or less being at the helm of a community, or at least developing a community around certain, principles, and just being able to interact with people through YouTube and then make a living off of that so I can dedicate myself to it full time would be just amazing. But when you think about it, at least in my case, and I'm sure other, more successful, or, anyone that's trying to do anything as a career or a hobby, or like YouTube would be, make a career out of a hobby, it just doesn't make any sense for me to say, I don't feel like I can fake being happy right now. Like, that doesn't sound like a good starting place for any hobby. I can't force myself to be happy enough to do this hobby. It doesn't sound right because it's not right. I'm not saying that every video I made last semester I was putting on some fake front about being happy. A lot of the times I was happy that I was doing a video and was happy about the game I was playing, but a lot of the times where I was like, I should record something, and then didn't record something, it's because I was like, I'm burnt out. I don't have the energy to fake being happy, or to pour that much energy into a video, which, as I've been like repeating myself for a few minutes, is no way to look at a hobby, and no way to be successful in a hobby or in a career. So to sum it up, one of my goals going forward is to make videos on this channel, Bold Brew Gaming, genuine. If I only do one video a week, I'm not going to be like a Debbie Downer if I'm feeling bad or anything, but to maybe just play a game and not be like, oh wow, this and that, no, this is a great game, like, because it's not me, and given the past few months to just be me, and that's not independent of, or how do I put this? Not saying that like YouTube was making me not be me, but like just given the past few months to grow, if that makes any sense. Again, I can make, another video just talking about this topic. I don't want this to be the whole spiel that lasts like 90% of the video, but I think I'm in a much better place now to make videos that I will both enjoy making, enjoy editing, and be proud that I posted, and not just say, okay, I met this week's quota of a video or two videos. I did not enjoy doing them, but at least I got them up. That's the complete wrong way, I think, to think about any career. Like, that would suck, but especially something that you have a choice and you say, I want this to be my hobby, and then I'm like, oh, well, I hate doing it. It just doesn't sound right. So, moving on, you probably also noticed that my backdrop's a little bit different. I did move apartments. I moved down the road from where I was to a much more better apartment. Call it what it is. So, other than my backdrop being different. I'm not entirely sure what mic sensitivity I should set to now, because alright, see, I don't know that my roommate directly on the other side of this wall, I can hear him a lot when he's playing. I can also hear him playing guitar sometimes. That doesn't really bother me, but it might come across in the audio through the microphone, so I'm going to try to minimize that as much as possible. Also, the people above me have lead fucking feet, so if I'm like ever gaming, especially later in the evening, that's when it usually picks up, and you hear like I'm sorry, I don't think I can like dull the mic enough to not hear that and you still hear me. So it is what it is, but overall this place is much more social. I have 3 roommates. They all seem really chill. I don't know if I just said this, it's more social. The office is much more accessible. It's much more inviting. I am getting to know a few of the student workers in the office, which is nice. The apartment, I think, is more inviting overall. Like the whole time I was living in my other apartment last semester, I didn't have one friend come over. And that's not because, like, they didn't say I don't want to come over, but say when Jonah came into town, I was like, all right, let's meet at Andrew's place. Because there was really just nothing to do there. But here, you know, this place has a game room. We play some pool, some like, what is it called? Sliding discs? Shuffleboard. There's an accessible pool. You know, they've got drinks, non-alcoholic drinks. We've got a nice deck. So what I'm saying is, overall, I'm in a much better place emotionally and mentally, and also physically. So thumbs up all around. Getting the new year off to a good start, other than the actual first of the year, because I got pretty damn sick. December like 30th and December 31st, I was like dead. I had to take some NyQuil. I was asleep at like 10. Woke up the next morning, still had a headache, and then it was gone by like January 2nd. So cheers to not only the new year, but also the new decade. Charged into it sick. Perfect. But that's all right. So to touch on one more thing before we end the video here, the switch to Bold Brew Gaming has a few different meanings for me. One, it was just better going forward, I think, for a lot of different reasons. But one of the things that I've been thinking about over the past year, really, is that initially Unconventional Gentleman was supposed to be scalable. And by that, I mean a name like Rooster Teeth, where it's not explicitly gaming, and from that they get to do a lot without being tied down to one subject. And that's why Unconventional Gentleman was picked as the title of the channel, so that in the future, you know, there's gaming on the channel, but there can also be shorts, there can also be podcasts, there can also be this and that and the other, which I think was well intended. However, you hear that shit? You might not be able to hear it. Hopefully you can't hear it, but I guarantee you will hear it at least at some point while I'm here. So despite it being well intended, I think it lacked clarity. At one point I remember thinking, if I was scrolling and I saw Unconventional Gentleman as an Instagram page or a YouTube page or whatever page, I would have no clue what they're about. You could make a few like assumptions, but you don't really know. Is it gaming? Is it fashion? Is it, you know, how to dress? You know, you wouldn't know. At least not without, you know, scrolling through their profile, which, let's be honest, you know, especially as a smaller, very small YouTube channel, there are probably millions, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of other channels just like mine. And those channels probably in some way incorporate gaming into the title. What I'm getting at here is that it lacked clarity, and I wanted to make it very clear that primarily, at least for now, this is going to be a gaming channel, as pretty much it's always been. If you've been watching for any length of time, you know it's pretty much all gaming except for a few podcasts. And on top of that, I realized just because it's Bold Brew or whatever gaming doesn't mean you have to just stick to gaming. So definitely wanted to get gaming in the title somewhere, and I drink coffee all the time, so I figured it was as good a name as any. But one of the reasons I went with Bold Brew Gaming as opposed to making up a certain name for myself like Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie is because, one, I'm not that imaginative, and I don't I'm not like Markiplier where I have a favorite thing, or I just wouldn't know how to do it properly, really. But more importantly, one of my big goals here on this channel is to build and grow a community. I'll get more into that in a different video. This video is already going on like 20 minutes, which is a lot longer than I was expecting it to. But I wanted to make it so that it's not just centered around me. And of course, I will be the one in front of the camera like 99% of the time. But when I was thinking about it, I thought of channels like, like Markiplier's channel or Jacksepticeye's channel, where if they're not making videos, then, for the most part, videos aren't getting made. And there's no problem with that. But one of the things I wanted to do, and something that would be amazing in the future, is that if this little community did grow in such a way that allowed me to perhaps get an editor or someone else to game with me, and then that way it becomes more of a platform for people instead of just a platform for me to speak to the community, if that makes sense. I hope this isn't coming off as like preachy or egotistic or something like that, but that was my main thought process in going with a title over a name. I hope that came off clearly. If not, if you care, just let me know. I'll explain it some more later. Overall, very happy to be back. Very happy in general, and not just like, oh, I'm happy because I'm having a good day. Like, I feel better all around, and it's a feeling I wish I could describe. I could probably spend another 20 minutes just yapping about it, but for this video, I think I will leave it at that. So thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you to anyone and everyone out there who is supporting me and supporting this channel. I can't thank you enough. And if you want to keep up with the latest Bold Brew Gaming news, make sure you follow us on all of our social media, being Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. Again, thank you all so much. I'm very excited to be back. I can't wait to see you all again, but I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.